right, welcome everybody to day two of how to build an agent in 5 days. You can thank Tom for reminding me to record today because that is very important for what we are doing, which is recording the actual steps of how we do this and then posting them on YouTube afterwards. So it should be a really fun day. If you haven't already, introduce yourself in the chat so we know where you're from. We'll probably see a few more people kind of trickle in over the course of the next couple minutes, but we only have an hour today, so we're going to get started. What I'm going to do is actually just talk about the high level vision of what we're doing, maybe take 30 seconds, and then we're going to have the team of panelists here introduce ourselves. So we'll just go Haley, Tom, Lindsay, Vince, Ryan. I think that's the order we went yesterday, and we'll just hand off. But in case you're wondering what it is you walked into, not just cool animal facts, but also a really interesting look behind the scenes at how to build an agent. We're really doing this in 5 hours, not 5 days, but we're breaking it up to make it a little bit more digestible. So our vision is to create a knowledge agent right within one of our sandboxes that's looking at specifically lightning knowledge articles that we've created. It's aimed at our end users who might be asking for help on how to do something, or how does that functionality work, or what's that vocabulary? What is a campaign, for example, I think is the one that we pulled up yesterday. So in this, we won't be creating the knowledge articles. We've already done some work up front, but we have already created knowledge articles. We started yesterday by doing an Agentforce data library, and we'll review more about day one in just a moment. In case you're wondering who it is on the screen, we've got two people who won't be on screen today, but who are called out here, Allison and Monica, who won't be on screen, but they are in the chat and likely at different points may chime in. But we're just going to do a quick introduction. So my name is Haley. I'm the Director of CRM and Engagement Services here at Smith. I'll be talking a lot, but hopefully representing questions and things that you guys have, and maybe asking some clarifying questions as Tom is actually doing the hard stuff. Tom, I'm going to hand over to you.
Sure. Tom Newberger, Smith College. This will be our first agent that I'm actually building in preparation to go to production environment. So I've done a bunch of trailheads, so I'm vaguely familiar with it, but the whole point of the thing is to sort of stumble through and learn as we go. I've been at Smith for 17 years, been involved in the Salesforce ecosystem for the entirety of Smith's journey with Salesforce, which is about 10, 11 years or so. And with that, I'll hand it over to Lindsay.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Perkins, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Alliances at IntraEdge. We are proud to be a partner of Smith and a partner at Salesforce. So, for those who are coming back from day one, welcome back. And for those who are just attending for the first time, welcome. So, looking forward to building an agent with you. I'll pass it over to Vibo or Vince.
Hi, Vince Borgina. I'm our VP of AI and Enterprise Architecture at IntraEdge. Been in the Salesforce ecosystem for about 17 years and in higher ed for about 25, IT for about 30. Happy to just help and tag along here with the team and work through the AI stuff and answer any questions you guys might have. And I will toss it over to Ryan.
Thanks. I am Ryan Forey, solution engineer here at Salesforce. Been with Salesforce for a few months now, but in Salesforce for like 10 years and then education for 20, coming from Babson and Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. I am BSE aligned with actually Smith now, so excited about that. And just here to answer questions and like make sure an agent works properly for them, which they need no help, to be honest.
We appreciate it because I feel like today, tomorrow, we might run into some interesting things. We have a lot of questions for you as well. So I'm going to put Ryan and Vince will be on the hot seat a couple times today. This should be fun. I'm going to remind everybody we have Q&A open. So as you see things happening on the screen, if you can post any questions in there. For me, that shows up at the bottom of my Zoom window. So you just click in there, ask your question, and then we'll try to get through those. Lindsay and I will be keeping an eye on that. If you can try to avoid putting them in chat, it's not always impossible, or it's not always possible. Sometimes it just has to happen there. We'll try to catch them there as well. All right, last thing on the agenda before we get to building is to go through what we did on day one. So just a reminder, day one was yesterday. We had a little bit of like an outline. Today we're actually doing initial configuration. But in case you're wondering, I forgot about this. Can we do it? We're hoping so. Thanks for coming along on the ride. Day one, though, what we did is we reviewed day zero tasks and went through sort of the click path. That whole recording is on YouTube. So there'll be a link dropped in the end of the chat here, as well as kind of all over the event site and any emails that we have with the YouTube link in it. We did an introduction to the use case. We set up Data Cloud in the sandbox. We created our data library, our Agentforce data library, and we started documenting as we went, and we updated agent details, pretty much just like name and description yesterday. So technically we started yesterday, but we're going to review that a little bit today. We'll also have a slide like this for day two and for each day as we go through, because we are trying to make sure we're documenting for anybody else who might be doing a knowledge agent in the future. So if this is helpful to everyone, that's the goal. That's the goal. I think the first thing we were going to start with today was a little bit of just kind of a review of like what is an agent and maybe even the difference between like agents and bots. I know Tom is going to get all set up in the sandbox here, and then I'll stop sharing and let Tom share. But I think we have a couple of slides for, I think Ryan, these are your slides, for what is an Agentforce agent.
Awesome. Yeah. So an agent, we can read the slide, but it's more than just that traditional chatbot. It's a application that can be continuously used but and feed information from the system. It operates 24/7. It is more the generative AI passing the questions into an LLM and using a combination of your grounded data as well as some knowledge information to provide a response back, maybe some actions involved. But it helps instead of the traditional, actually, you can go to the next slide because this might be a better illustration.
Sure.
Oh, next slide after that. All
There
right,
we
cool. Yeah.
go.
So instead of like a bot that we used to have where your question and answer were very coordinated as to what was going to get said to a specific request, or maybe like a choose your own adventure where you have to go to these options to go to the next path. The autonomous agents are more self-deterministic, like or indeterministic, non-deterministic, where they are taking what you're saying and asking and processing it through SubAgents to guide it to where it thinks it should go. So it's not an exact match on words, but it's more concept pairing and trying to understand and taking context from previous parts of your conversation or data about yourself. So if you happen to log in and it knows that you are a first-time freshman, it might go and take the context that you're a first-time freshman who's interested in applying and take that data and bring back responses that are more contextual to what you're doing. They can also take action. So in this use case that we see here, a bot on the left-hand side is coming back and giving specific responses where the agent is guiding you, giving some questions like, I want to register for my fall courses. It knows who you are, so it's giving the information about who you are back to you. So conversational, you can have a question and answer. I always ask it how it's doing just to see what the response is, because those aren't necessarily all the time questions that it's been programmed to do.
Yeah, you have
And
to be
then,
polite to the robots also.
yes, very polite to the robots. Though I did actually hear anecdotally that try not to do that because it eats up extra tokens.
Oh,
Right? So it's like,
gotcha.
oh, unnecessary thinking, and try to like lighten the load of the LLM. So, but I always am polite. I say thank you.
I was gonna say my
Um,
Midwestern heart won't be able to take that.
yeah. And so it also, our agents can take action more. So if you want to register for an event, it can help you do that. And we'll ask the question. So what day are you likely to enroll or attend? And it'll give the options for the day. So it'll be more conversational instead of you having to go through the specific steps. Yeah. Hope that helps.
I think so. I think so. All right. If anybody has any questions for Ryan, feel free to post those in the Q&A. There was one slide I'm going to go back to. It might take me a minute, which was this
This
one.
one.
So the 5 steps to creating an agent, which is kind of where we're starting today, right?
Right. And when you're thinking about the agent, There's also another, I think, tool that we provide that helps you frame what you're trying to do. So what are they trying to do? And in this use case, it wasn't terribly specific, but there was a goal in mind. It was to have an agent that worked, that we could deliver to internal staff members who are actually in the Salesforce platform and bring data back from a knowledge article. So we knew what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to answer questions to internal employees. The data, we knew where it was coming from. It was coming from internal knowledge-based articles that were within the Salesforce environment. What was it going to do? It was going to answer those questions using data from the knowledge articles and guardrails. What should it absolutely not do? And I think we might get into that today or tomorrow. But it's kind of what is not the purpose. It isn't supposed to escalate, maybe, if you want to tell it to do that, but I think we might do an escalation item here. And then finally, the channel. That was the internal employee. And that's important to before you jump in, because it could have an effect, again, on your billing and how these things get charged and how you deploy the agent. One thing like an internal employee agent will respect the user, if set up this way, will respect the security of the user who's using it. And the channel, let's say it was a agent that is being deployed on a website. We need to configure the agent's permissions so it has access to the information that you want those external non-authenticated people to be able to use. So different channels. And the channels are, I don't know if we've actually gone over all the different channels that we could do. You can do voice, you can do text messaging, you can do email, and the agent can also just be that traditional like chat that is happening on here. It's lots of different things.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I think these are our steps for today. Maybe we start with Tom starting to build. Does that sound like a good plan? All right. I'm gonna stop sharing. Tom, I think it's your turn. And then
Let's
just a
do it.
reminder, as we get started, post things in the Q&A and we will try to answer those as we go.
All right. So make sure it loads. Where did the rest of my Zoom screen go? Everyone see that all right?
Yes. Yep. We can see that.
Yep.
Okay, cool. The rest of my Zoom stuff disappeared, so so I don't see anybody or chat or anything, but it's fine. It's a live demo. Everything's great. So first thing I did is obviously we have a sandbox. I've logged into the sandbox and I've used the app changer to go into Agentforce Studio. Yesterday we did sort of create the beginning of the agent itself. I'm going to show it here. So it's the Smith College Knowledge Agent. We had some really great questions, and so I kind of wanted to show some of that. So this test Agentforce employee agent was sort of a rough thing that came over when we cloned the sandbox from production, just from poking around and trying stuff, but not configured. Literally it was built before the sandbox was even spun up. But you'll notice it's got a slightly different icon next to it, and so this is the difference between the builder, the current builder, and the other builder that's everywhere in Trailhead that's been around for a year. So one of the questions that I always had, and that I think came up in yesterday's discussion, is what's the difference between the two builders and how do I know which one? If I build it in the old, can I convert it to the new? And that's, to be determined, forward-looking statement, all of that. But so this one was built in the legacy builder. So when I click it and open it up, it sort of shows me that the setup that you would see for an agent if you actually went to the gear icon and set up, right? Open in builder. And it looks a certain way. I'm just going to let it load up just so you can sort of see it. But we're going to be using, in our instance, we're going to be using the newer builder. So when I open that one up, it has a different look and feel to it. So this is the builder interface that we're going to try to use. Right.
All
There's
right.
a question. Oh, sorry, Lindsay, you're probably.
No, that's okay. I think we're doing the same thing. So, Vivo, I'll ask you this question, which is, Do we need lightning knowledge if we want to build a knowledge base agent, or can we connect to other Salesforce metadata, Agile Accelerator, and third-party sources like Google Drive?
The short answer, yes. And there are other ways to connect to data. So there's a number of different ways to do that. You can pull data into Data Cloud. There are also web retrievers that you can set up to retrieve directly from the web, and a whole host of ways to do that. If you're paying attention even to some of the announcements, there's a big announcement. You mentioned Google Drive there. There was a large announcement from Salesforce and Google about the ability to connect directly to Salesforce, to Google resources directly from Salesforce. So there's a lot of sharing in between those two companies that if you have say a giant Google Drive with a bunch of help articles or something, or things like that, there's even easier ways to connect that to those articles for data now. So no, you do not need to have Salesforce knowledge. There are some things that make it easier, and some, obviously, all the goodness of the content sort of curation in Salesforce knowledge that's available to you. But if you have a built knowledge base somewhere else that you're using, say, um, institution wide for other things, you can definitely grab the data from that and pull it into to use for knowledge.
Fabulous. We hope that answered your question, but please feel free to follow up.
All right. Should I just keep going? We're head bobbing. Good. All right. So this is our new agent. Literally, we just said, create new. One of the things that we had to choose in order to create it and save it was a name. So we got very descriptive with this Smith College Knowledge Agent. The description for the agent. So this was something that we did think about ahead of time. I do want to say thank you to Ryan for helping us to think about the kinds of things that you should be anticipating. So a description for the agent is used by the agent so that it knows what it should be doing. There's a lot more stuff that goes on under the hood, and we'll get to that with SubAgents. But so our description, as you can see on the screen, just telling it what it is. It's an internal AI agent, natural language processing, to help our end users. One of the other things that's on here that is hidden under, I think, agent details is where I could go in. System, that's where it is the role. Where's role on here, Ryan?
In the new version?
Did
In the new version, did I just not see it?
they just rename it? So under system there,
Yeah.
it says agent level instructions.
Oh, that could be it.
Speaking of the new and the old, we actually have a question around that, which I know we had a few questions about that yesterday as well. So for Mike here, we have, do the old and new builders result in the same product? In other words, is there reason to migrate our existing agent built from the legacy builder to the new builder manually, or is the resulting agent going to be the same?
I can let you or me, right?
The question about migration came up yesterday too. And there is a plan for a migration tool. I saw something internally posted that it could be as soon as this summer. But yeah, it is a different tool. So as much as you migrate, you might actually have to make some changes after the fact you migrate, but they are two different tools. Um, the newer version has more ability to do deterministic logic. So if you want to set like a context variable or a variable that says, if for anybody who is a maybe self-identified as a student, you go down a different path of answers versus someone who has identified as a non-student, you might go down a different path of possible actions. So there's variables you can actually set that will let you go left or right. Additionally, you can actually switch between a canvas view, which is kind of like a WYSIWYG sort of interface, and then actually get directly into the script. So there's differences there. So I would say if you're going new, and this is Tom explained it yesterday really well. If you're starting off new, just go to the new version because there's a lot more there, and that is going to be the future.
Right. All right, so I'm gonna continue on with sort of filling this out. So agent level instructions, and this is like the high level on the actual agent system itself. I think I'll put in our role. So we did some planning ahead of time. But this is, I'm waiting for a reaction in terms of two things. One, what I typed, and two, how fast of a typer I am, because I'm a very fast typer. Um, but so the agent instructions, again, we're saying that you're an internal employee representative to surface knowledge articles. Let me see if I'm cutting this off for employees. Provide on-demand natural language guidance and answering the how-to questions and guiding users through tasks in real time. So one of the things that we tried to think about is that this is an area that kind of gives, as my understanding, and please, jump in there if I'm going off topic, but it kind of helps to give the agent an overall vibe, right? So it's what it's all about. We're going to get into some of the actual instructions of what it can and will do when we do the sub agents, and those were originally called topics and then got renamed as sub agents. But the high level agent level instructions is kind of like more like its personality in a way. Is that fair to say? Seeing some nods. Okay. The welcome message is something that like when you have it on a chat, and that's our intended use, is that we're gonna that's our line of thinking. So the welcome message is kind of like your default text that will be in there. And again, I am an extremely fast typer. So here to help you find documentation, right? So this will be the placeholder text that people will see when they log in and start to interact with.
Tom, I might interject on this one. There's some thought to put in to let people know that this is an AI agent, so they don't think they're talking with a human sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it's to build that, hey, this you are interacting with an AI agent so that you know that this is what's happening. And it kind of, some people feel certain ways about it.
I was gonna say that'll be important at Smith. So I just updated our description, Tom. I see you caught it. Thank you.
Yeah, good point. All right. And then error message. So the placeholder text here, I mean, it's adequate. If we want to give the agent a little more personality, we could tweak this a little bit. But this is, a hope best case scenario, nobody ever sees this, right? Because we build our agents so well. But right now, this would be the error message that they would see. Do we want to tweak this text at all?
Probably. I'm wondering, this is like what they would see if they didn't find a knowledge article that matched like what they had searched. Is that where error messages come in?
It would output that. There's some in the subagents that you'll have for errors too, but this is your global. So I would say something along the lines of, sorry, we couldn't find an article for that, or something along those lines might be more pertinent to this um,
Yeah.
particular agent.
I might be dating myself, but these are the old school 404 errors that you get when you are going on a website and the page is not found. I always love developing those because you can get creative and say, whoops.
I do like when they're like a little bit cuter. Hey now, I
Yeah.
missed that. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll come back to this. We'll play with it a little bit more, but that looks good for now, Tom.
Great. All right. So I always try to save as I go along. I could tell a horror story about staying up, going into a computer cluster and starting to type uh, in college, starting right after dinner and having the computer server crash around 3:30 in the morning, having not gotten up from the chair and not having saved my work. So it's a lesson you learn once, just once. But so saving as I go along. One of the things that we'll also get into, so we're in the build and we haven't done any versions, but committing of different versions, we haven't activated anything yet. So really my save is just to sort of mark and not lose things if I go off. I think hopefully we'll get into different versions and committing the versions. I'm expecting, I see Vince nodding his head. Vince is going to be our testing guru for assistance with that. And that's where I really see some of the versioning and committing coming into play for us. That's my sort of expectations. So, all right, so that is the system settings. Language settings, we are an English institution. We're here in the United States. I guess by default, we're also allowing UK English. I'm not anticipating additional language needs for our internal users, but so my gut instinct is to leave this as is. Is there any reason to include additional languages? Are there extra costs for the extra languages for translation efforts or anything like that? Or what's best practice here?
I think you'd mainly see that on an external agent. So remember, these are for internal. So if your student population might be, you might need to think about different languages if you wanted help, depending on what you make of. That's mainly where I've seen that, Tom, is if people want to throw some languages in based on their student population. Obviously, I'm in Arizona. We see a lot of Spanish, so help for students if they're hitting a general help site and you want to throw that out there, or if you see a lot of common languages like that, that's definitely can be there. And tokens are tokens, so the language and translation isn't shouldn't incur any extra for that.
Cool, thank you. I'm going to keep it as English then.
Yeah.
Just to
We can always come back though. That may be a good user question too. So
yeah, yeah. All right, so those are the general setups for the agent. Again, all through the left-hand navigation. The next thing, just kind of coming down the list, is the subagents, and these are the topics. So this is really where we chose a template, right? So yesterday when we created the agent, we chose the employee agent is the type. It came with some sub-agent topics, or sorry, some sub-agents pre-configured. There was a great question yesterday too about why did you choose the employee agent as opposed to the Agentforce knowledge space agent. And the first time I read it, I had a little bit of a Christopher Walken moment because I wanted it to be the knowledge space agent, but it's knowledge space agent. But we chose this one because when I played around with it, it had fewer of these. Ryan, I'm going to put you on the hot seat because you were going to look into the knowledge space agent, so to speak.
Give me a minute and I'm gonna get back to you.
Okay. Okay, good. Always fun in a live demo to ask questions of our internal panelists that they aren't anticipating. But all right, so general FAQ is kind of where I think I'd like to start. The knowledge, the agent router, I think is sort of passing things around. We're not really, I don't want to start with that, right? Because I'm anticipating this is going to be on the one browser. Off topic and ambiguous questions, we'll kind of drill into those a little bit as well. But all right, so knowledge FAQ. This is the interface for sort of building out the instructions. This, I think, was the biggest difference between what's now the legacy builder and then this builder. This to me feels more intuitive, right? So building out different instructions, each one of these sort of paragraphs is its own instruction, whereas in the legacy builder, it was almost like on the left-hand side, you'd have like a separate text block that you would put in, and then you'd have a new text block, and you'd have to do, new value in there. This feels a lot softer and nicer. So kudos to the design team at Salesforce that came up with this layout. I really like it. And again, I don't have a ton of experience. It's mostly just going through trailheads and playing with it is the wealth of my experience. But this is uh, where it's at.
Yeah, and I have your answer. The knowledge agent that you were also possibly going to choose versus the employee agents, it's another external internal thing. So those
Yeah,
are more for externals answering customer questions with possible deflection and case creation.
yeah, great, great. All right, so these instructions for the knowledge FAQ are really sort of they're what came with the thing. So Salesforce gives us sample text. I think what we're going to do is go through and kind of make it a little bit more personalized for how we intend to use it, right? So my understanding is that these used to be called topics, but the subagents kind of dictate what you can do, and the instructions on the subagent is how you'll do it. So is that a fair assessment? So if we wanted to, for example, have an agent that would update a field, we would need to have a sub-agent that would handle updating a field.
You mean, so you make that mean like an action to update the field or like sub-agent to update the field?
That's it's but kind of my question, right? So if we this our use case is just knowledge retrieval, right? But if we were building a different agent that got information and then wanted to update a record, would that be a sub-agent to do the update, or would it be just like an instruction part of an agent, of a sub-agent?
You would configure the action to actually do the update.
Yeah,
The instructions and this whole interface that you're looking at now for the sub-agent kind of describes when to appropriately use this agent.
got it.
And also instructions on this. It also combines part of that role that you were describing before. So like right off the bat, it's like your job is to answer questions. So this agent should be used when we're going to answer questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. To add to that a little bit, so there's this sort of device or thing inside of Salesforce called the Atlas Reasoning Engine, and that is the thing that determines how to use this stuff. So these instructions that you're providing at this level of these subagents are giving information to that reasoning engine so that it knows what subagent, formerly called topics. If you build them in the old builder, they're called topics. But what to choose here? Where do I go? And that's really what these instructions are doing is like, hey, pick me, reasoning engine. I need to, this is the thing based on the question that the person is asking in the chat, that I need to, that you want me. And so these instructions are the reasons that you would choose this subagent in this nomenclature for this build of Agentforce. And then underneath that, you see the little sort of action, and that's answer question with knowledge, and you can have more actions underneath that that can do more things like I think we'll eventually maybe have a create a case or something like that action, and you may not need to leave that topic.
In
to
order
do
to do the
that for
different
that
actions.
sub-agent. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really like why would I choose this path if I'm a intelligent reasoning artificial intelligence?
Yeah,
Why would I pick this thing? Is really these topics. So those topics are like why you would pick or not pick this thing, and then once you've picked the thing, here's what the thing can do, and those are the actions right there.
cool.
I gotcha. I wonder, Tom, I don't know if maybe I missed this, but if you click back over on the side there, it says agent router, maybe we just kind of go down the subagents there in order. Does that work?
Okay.
Let's see. This just trying to read through that.
Yep. Could you expand that agent router too? Like, is there anything else underneath it? Oh, okay.
No, that's it.
Yep.
That's it. And then it's got one set of instructions. Select the best
Yeah.
Yep.
sub-agent,
And
basically.
that's
And
kind
this,
of along the lines of what I was just saying. So it's the instructions of this agent router are select this, go down the list of stuff, which you can see the list of stuff are the general fact, off topic, and the other things that are there, right? So if you want to create more focused instructions here, you can create, more instructions inside of this router to give that reasoning engine a better idea of what topic to pick, not just inside of the topic. So this is like select the best tool based on that, and it's going to look through those others for those instructions to see what the best tool is. But you can also right here just kind of be more prescriptive and say, hey, when they're asking for knowledge, use the general fact agent. Like when they're asking for how to do something, use this, and then we
okay.
can see how it goes.
Let's start building it out. So I clicked below the one set of instructions that was there to create a new instruction. If the user is asking a question about how to do an action, use the general FAQ.
Sort of. So just can you make a pretend sub-agent really quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll hit the plus sign here.
Yeah, just new sub-agent and do like just test.
Pretend
Yeah.
test for Ryan.
So the agent router helps when new things come in. It will start to say, hey, this is what you're going to do. And if you'll notice that there's an automatic update after you created this pretend one onto that agent router.
Oh, with the blue dot there.
Yeah, so if you actually click in to that agent router, it actually added on down to below to your actions. If you scroll down a little bit, yeah, the pretend one. So essentially, this topic is the catch-all to say, hey, when something comes in, go to each of these different sub-agents to figure out which the right one is to use. If you actually expand the arrow next to each one of these, it says, hey, go to this, go to this, go to this.
Yeah.
So it's the there's a right word for it, but the thing that tells you which way to go.
Yeah,
The
it's like the
conductor of the
Okay.
orchestra.
controller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Conductor.
The
I like
router.
that conductor. So we don't really need to edit this one then is what I'm hearing.
You
Yeah.
you
I
you
probably made more
don't,
work
but
than anything.
but like I was saying, if you're finding that it's having trouble to discern what um where
Which
where to
sub-agent to
go,
go,
you
then
can come in here and give it a little bit of a kick in the pants and say, we really want you to go this way, right? Or if you really
cool.
want to be descriptive about like any time they asked to do, to summarize a case or create a case, use our case agent or something. You can be a little prescriptive here into what you want to do that. I don't know if
Okay.
you need to do that right now, but if we find it's having trouble,
Then we
like
could
it
come
always
back
hits
to it.
off topic or something like that, you can help it along a little bit.
All right, cool. So I might then end up deleting this pretend test for Ryan.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We'll get to it. I'm going to go down the list per your suggestion, Haley. So general FAQ, we did sort of show that on there. There were a number of things. So reading through this, this is very, you know, business heavy, sort of generic. And I say that not to critique it or to be bad, but there are things that are in here that, you know, for our use case, it doesn't exactly feel like it's 100% fit. So I'd want to edit some of this, such as we don't, I mean, we're Smith College, we're not the company. So that sort of stands out to me as something that I would want to edit, just to put it in our own terms. Um, there was also something that's in here that I was looking at, escalating the issue to a live agent. We don't have live agents here at Smith for this use case. So this topic would either need to get, or sorry, this not topic, this instruction would either need to get modified, updated, or removed, right? Depending on what we ultimately decide to do with it. I kind of want to jump into there and start making these
Yeah.
changes.
Well,
Um,
think we should just sort of in the interest of time too. I know we've talked a little bit about, I think these instructions match the ones that we were playing with. So I think that top one we had an update that was like your job is solely to help with issues and answer questions by searching knowledge articles. Um,
yes.
I think the second one was pretty much the same. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and update these based on, I know we had the one in the spreadsheet that we were working on. And
Yeah.
it looks like we do have a question.
Yeah. Um, Good question, Sam. So I guess just clarifying on the conversation we were just having, does it continuously go through sub-agents for each incoming message in the same chat session? Ryan or Vince?
Yeah. So what's happening is every time you're asking a question, you're tacking back and forth to the agent. It is taking that question, looking at the context window, which is everything you've asked up until that point, um, and where you're at, in the line of questioning and what the agent has to do. So it can go back and switch sub-agents if, like, we, for instance, I guess, say we create a sub-agent that's job is to create a case, and we give it the instructions of, hey, next time, like, things are happening, um, hey, I don't like the way, I didn't get my answer here. Can you create a case for me? It will know enough that, oh, I've got the information of all these sub-agents and I know I need to create a case. And hey, I have this agent that'll do that for me if we put it in a different agent. And therein lies some tuning of how we would want to do these things is, do you want to put some things and stuff in the same subagent, like different actions in the subagent, like create a case in the same agent, or do we want to, create new subagents to do different things? And that is like a decision and like a performance thing and seeing how things are working. But yeah, it'll go back through. It has as it runs through all these the very first time, it's kind of got that context of what all the subagents are and what it needs to do. And when you're asking it questions, it understands what all these things can do, and then it might switch subagent based on, you've all of a sudden asked a completely different question and it needs to go change it up. It'll change it up.
Yeah. All right. So as thank you, Vince, for answering that. So I kind of had two sets of instructions that were pretty much identical. So I edited one and I removed the other. I want to put in something about so two questions that I'm going to ask. So one, I kind of deleted this thing, but now there's like a gap in there. Is that a problem? Is question number one. And number two, does the order for the instructions matter, right? So do the instructions at the top have a higher precedent than the bottom? Do they all get interpreted equally? Like that's kind of one of the things that I don't have any information on. But the thing that I do want to add is so we've got this include sources in your responses. I'd like to also instruct to link out to the knowledge article, right? So that as somebody is typing, yes, they'll see the response, but I'll put in a instruction here that says ask include a link, let the person go to it, and maybe that opens in a new tab so they can read the full article and not just the summarized version, right?
Yeah.
So two questions: Is this gap a problem, and does order matter?
Uh,
And
I
before
have,
you actually, sorry, Vince, before you ask that, I'm going to add a third one in just because Heidi added a third one related to Tom's questions here, which is along those lines, is there somewhere you can set priority to include instructions for the sub-agent router that will help it lean towards certain articles or ones that are more obscure?
so you can be a little descriptive. As far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, these are not in any type of priority order off the bat. So it's going to read all of this across all these things and then determine what to do. So I don't know that there's a priority set in here. However, you can be explicit in your um, topics. I keep saying topics, but in terms of your instructions here, that make it to try and tune it to go one way or another.
Mhm.
I would say if you have those types of things where you want it to do a certain thing, like this link, let's put it here, Tom, because we can see how it works. Your idea is when it fires the action to have that be the thing
Oh,
that has it put the link in there. So when you have it come out, have that be part of the prompt, and we can go look at the prompt and the information from that. So it might be a better spot to put that. But I would say let it go here and see how it responds, and then if you're having trouble with it, go through there. But so as far as I know, in the priority, you would have to be explicit in your instructions to tell it something about the priority. There is no native, like just because it's the first thing that I'm aware of, that takes precedence over what it is. It's not like, it tries to read through the whole thing and then understand and then take it. So you'd have to say like you need to always do this every single time kind of thing. And
okay.
don't forget it or something. Yeah. So we can try it here
I
and see
like
how
it. We're
it's
like threatening the agents, like, or else.
Yeah, or else. Yeah.
yeah.
The other thing that I feel I didn't get a good sense of because again, Trailhead is amazing. There's a ton of really good agent stuff that's out there. So it's fantastic. But a lot of it is like, here's your instructions, copy them over to build the test agent in Trailhead. I kind of noticed that a lot of the instructions are single sentence. So one of the things that I had, because normally when I'm writing user interface stuff and I'm telling somebody what to do, what the click path is, it's typically it's not a full paragraph that I'm thinking, but oftentimes the point I want to convey is going to be encapsulated in two or three sentences, unless I decide I want a run-on sentence that has comma splices and all of that. So in terms of writing these things, these instructions, is it better to have lots and lots of single sentence instructions, or if they're like in a theme, do you group them? Does it matter? Does it, what's some of the thinking on there, or is it test and see what you like?
I feel test and see what you like, but it again, it's you're giving instructions and the context and the order, I think it matters. Like, remember, I don't know if this has ever happened, but you get a test, and my teachers always said, read the whole thing before you go, and you understand everything, because like the last sentence says, oh, don't answer any questions, right? Because it's a one of those things teachers do to drive you crazy.
Yeah.
So reading it all is I think is good, and you pass it in, and you understand the entire context. So for this, you don't want to confuse it. So being as clear as possible without being overly verbose, I think is
Hmm.
helpful. So
Okay.
explicit statements are good to interpret that way. That's why you say, boom, do this, but never do this.
Yeah.
I love Sam's response here is they ran their instructions through AI and let it prioritize for them. So
Yeah, and that's one of the little, the icons here. So, are these instructions what they want to clarify? So it does allow you to sort of get a little response. We at Smith, we're a Google shop, so we have access to some of the Google AI offerings, right? So Gemini and Notepad or Notebook LM. So we would probably go through and play with some of that. Salesforce agent has some changes for us.
It kind of looks like it just reverted back to the original. So I think the ones in red there are the original ones.
Oh, it does. It does.
Yeah, this is where you could have asked it to update all your instructions to be specific for colleges and universities or education. And it would have just kind of gone through all those instructions and updated them for you.
How
Because
would we do that?
remember when you had like it said company at the beginning?
Yeah.
So try going into that interface again, the general FAQ.
General
Yeah,
FAQ.
and then do the whole AI
Oh,
thing on the right-hand side. So click into one of those. Yep. And then I don't know where your AI. Oh, because it's still trying to do it for you. Hit like that plus or minus on that or not.
no, it's got these all overall.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
that's what. Okay.
I'm gonna decline
All
all
right.
of it.
Now, okay, this is where you can ask your agent update these instructions to be specific for education.
Okay.
And
Update
you're saying
these.
do that in like the little box on the right
You
hand
can do it
side?
either
Or
place.
here? Okay. Cool.
You're using an agent to help you write an agent.
Like so.
Yeah.
Click the paper airplane.
Yes. Does this question route to an LLM? Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Students, applicants, faculty, and staff. This is close. This is getting closer.
Yeah.
I like it. So this one, I want to accept this, but I think
You can,
Well,
uh,
but
it's
that
got the little checkbox next to that, so you can hit the little check there, and I think it'll accept just that. There you go.
and if you can
And
update
then
it
the
to
next
just
one,
the
if there's, yeah, you can hit the answer questions with knowledge. If it made a change in there, you can accept specifically that one.
okay. So we're not doing our policies, add drop stuff. It's just the knowledge articles. So I'm going to just decline this change.
and in the
But
other one, the general FAQ one, it was like referencing students and applicants and stuff. If you can just change it to the students, I think it was under general FAQ, I think.
okay.
Yes. Always review what AI gives you.
Yeah.
Always.
It was like the description on top. Yeah, it's assists maybe faculty and staff by searching institutional knowledge articles.
Oh yeah. Faculty,
And
and
then
I can get rid of the Harvard comma.
yeah. And those aren't really our use cases, so it could just be like Salesforce functionality or IT help. Probably fine. Cool. And we got maybe 30 more seconds, then I gotta wrap us up.
maybe while Tom is doing that, I just see another question in the chat. Where do you specify the LLM you want to use?
So in the actual prompt section, when you create a prompt, you can specify an LLM to use. And then there is one place on I don't know on the new builder where it is, but there was one place where you had a toggle between two. of Agentforce default and I think another one. Um, but there wasn't as many, like you could pick any LLM that Agentforce has access to in the prompt builder. However, here you are more restricted. Like it's to do the regular routing of the agents and this type of stuff. It's really relying on that Atlas reasoning engine inside of Salesforce. So it's kind of its own LLM to do that. The prompts are really where you want to go out and choose what type of the actual LLM that you have access to. I don't know if Ryan, if they remember that little thing, like you had a little toggle of two in the other builder, and it was like, I'll do this one or this one, and that was your only choices. And I think that's kind of gone away.
Yeah, I can't find it anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it exists anymore. So it wasn't really a choice anyway. It was kind of
Nice. All right. I think we need to end there just so that we end on time. So I'm going to share day two updates. So this is what we did on day two. We configured a new builder. We added a welcome message that explicitly called out that it's AI to help out our users, and we began instructions for the subagents. I will say challenges for me, understanding subagents and how to use them, and then making sure we get language right to directly quote Ryan, being as clear as possible without being overly verbose. So I think there was one last question about when we'll get to prompt builder. So I'll look to maybe Ryan and Vince on like what day you think we might get to that. Is that more in like the testing day or when might that one be?
we'd probably take a look at it tomorrow, maybe if
Uh,
depending on how we build out like the agent, we can take a look at the actual prompt that's given to us there for that answer questions with knowledge. Correct, Ryan? Like we can just look at the prompt for that one.
yeah, I think that would be best bet. Unless, and then I don't know if Tom is gonna get to a point where he creates his own in this trend,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Either adjusting that one or copying that as a template and then making your own. Like we can play around with that too.
Yeah. Nice. And then tomorrow we also have guests from ASU joining who are going to talk a little bit about their agents and we'll be able to pick their brains too on some of the things that they've learned.
They've
So
definitely got prompts.
oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
I can
Great. Well, this was really fun. Thanks everybody for participating and all your great questions and chats and engagement. We'll be posting this on our YouTube channel, so there'll be a couple of posts about it as well as an email that goes out tomorrow for day three. Make sure if you missed anything to catch up there. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. Have a great day, y'all.
thank you.
We did it. Stop the recording.